Kubrat Pulev wins a 12-round UD over Hughie Fury. This was a better fight than I expected. I got my prediction for this fight wrong. I picked Hughie Fury to win on points, provided there was fair officiating, there was fair judges. And to be honest, for the most part, there was. There was not really anything that was disastrously against Hughie Fury in this fight. They let him carry on with a very badly cut up eye, which, the cornermen did their job and they neutralised that a bit. But, for all intents and purposes, it was a very fair fight for both ends. I think the scoring was fair, to be honest. There was one scorecard that was a bit too wide, but for the most part, I think it was a fair fight. Going into the first round, it was a very cagey start by both men. Both men really didn't throw anything. They just kind of feel each other out. There was a few right hands that were thrown by Fury, which I thought just nicked them the round. And I was kind of thinking and hoping this wasn't going to be, the flow of the fight, that it was going to be, constantly feeling out for 12 rounds and there'd be hardly any punch thrown. But going into the second round, I think Kubrat Pulev kind of found his range a bit more. And towards the end of the round, he landed a very good, very hard jab, which is his best punch, on Hughie Fury, which opened the cut, and immediately it started bleeding. Now, that was a pre-existing cut from a couple of weeks outside of camp. I think Peter Fury said Martin Bacoli caused that cut in sparring. And obviously, scar tissue, it's going to reopen with a few shots, and that's exactly what happened. It did. It was a good shot. It was a good hard jab by Pulev, and cut reopened. And Kubrat Pulev grew in confidence from then on. You could really see it. He was enjoying himself in there a bit more because he knew he put Hughie Fury under pressure. Not just the fact that Hughie Fury was fighting away from home, but now he's got a cut to contest with as well. So Hughie Fury really, going into the third round, which was actually a good round for Fury, straight away he was kind of already going for broke, and he was stepping away from his normal, move and jab, safety first, constant move, and he was letting a few more right hands go. He was throwing a few more shots. But the thing about Hughie Fury is I think it's just engraved in him to be, jab and moving around the ring, defensively minded. That he doesn't really have that dog in him to, go and take something by the scruff of the neck and just, try and, force his will or something like that on Kubrat Pulev. Kubrat Pulev, to me, was the stronger man in there, and he was more willing. He was bullying Hughie Fury at some stage. He was pushing him back up against the ropes, and, you felt he was in control of this fight the whole way through. Hughie Fury, I think it was either in the 7th or the 8th round, landed a good right hand, which appeared to actually buzz Kubrat Pulev a bit. Hughie Fury couldn't follow up with it, couldn't do anything with it, and to be honest, Hughie Fury doesn't have the concussive punching power, I think, to really do anything after that anyway. And yeah, like later on into the fight, you saw it again, from Kubrat Pulev. He was getting more into it, more in control. And I've seen a few people online who say that as good a trainer as Peter Fury is, they think that maybe he overtrains his fighters, because Hughie Fury for this fight had a 14-week training camp. I think that's a very excessive training camp, especially for a heavyweight. Maybe there is some overtraining aspects to Peter Fury. He's a very good trainer. And I get the kind of impression of Peter Fury, he likes to kind of keep things kind of old school. A lot of the old school fighters would do, extensive training camps, long training camps, the drills. But I don't know, maybe today that's maybe outdated a bit. I don't know, maybe necessarily outdated. I know some of the old training methods are actually quite good, but if a fighter like Hughie Fury, I don't think maybe a 14-week training camp is a bit too long for him. So, he could have been overtrained. I don't discount that, but I don't think if he'd had a 9-week training camp, it would have made much of a difference in this fight, really. Kubrat Pulev seemed very, very composed, very confident. And I was watching this fight with a friend last night, and we both actually remarked that Kubrat Pulev, in the face, looks like a man in his 40s. But to the body, he looks like a man in his mid-20s. I mean, he looked in fantastic shape in this fight. Very lean, very chiseled. And, looked good. One thing I said in my prediction video was that Kubrat Pulev had been out of the ring for an extensive period of time, over a year. How would that affect him? It didn't really seem to affect him at all. I think maybe the first round he was a little bit rusty because it was his first fight since April of last year. So there was a few little cobwebs there, but they seemed to clear fairly quick, and he went about his business. So good performance from Kubrat Pulev. I think two of the judges had him wide. I think the judge closest to my own scorecard was the 170, 111 judge. I thought that was about right. Maybe 116, 112 would have been a bit closer. One judge had it 115, 113. It was very close for my liking, but it was fair officiating, it was fair judging. So it was a good performance by Kubrat Pulev. The right man won at the end, and he moves on to challenge Anthony Joshua. If that fight gets made next, I'll be definitely picking Anthony Joshua, 100%. But it could be still interesting. Kubrat Pulev is a good boxer, good technical boxer, so he might be able to skill AJ for a few rounds, but a bit like the Povetkin fight, I think AJ will just break through and probably stop him. So that was my thought. Good performance, and Hughie Fury, he's still young, so plenty of time.